Hey, what's up everyone? John Rettinger here. Every now and then I like to take to the streets and ask you guys questions. Most of the videos I make are things that interest me and that I think that maybe you might like, but very rarely do I stop and ask, what do you guys want? So I posted a message on my Twitter account at twitter.com/John4Lakers about an hour ago asking you guys to ask me questions. Anything you want to know in technology or my personal life, I'm pretty much an open book. So I picked 9 questions and I'm going to go ahead and answer them for you. I'm going to try and do this series a little more regularly. It gives you guys a chance to get to know me a little bit better, and it helps me understand sort of what things you're looking for in future videos. So let's go ahead and get started. The first question comes from Ty's iPhone Help, really a fantastic YouTuber. Definitely check him out if you haven't. And he is asking, who is your favorite YouTuber other than me? And Ty is actually a good question. You can check out my subscribers box to see who I watch mostly. But some of the bigger name YouTubers that I love and that I watch all the time, I watch SXE Phil's videos. I love SMP Films, Shay Carl. I like all sort of the comedy vlog type things. You know, it's nice to see how people that are talking to the camera do it, see if I can pick up any tips, how they put comedy into their videos, and just see how they interact with their audience. It really is a nice way to, get some ideas. And also it's very enjoyable. I love College Humor, Barely Political, all of those. Those are some of my favorites. So the next Twitter question that we have here is from user Cajun Car Fan. And he asks, John, how do you carry your iPhone without a case? Without a screen shield or no screen shield? Well, I actually use clear coat on my iPhone. I did a big comparison versus the 3, what I consider to be the largest sort of plastic coating for the iPhone. It doesn't even look like a case, but this thing is totally scratch proof. And the clear coat for me has been the best. So that's what I use for my iPhone protection. Not gonna help me if I drop it, but I can now put it in my pocket with my keys and not worry about scratching the whole thing up. So hopefully that answered your question. The next question comes from Andrea Tunes, one of my favorite YouTubers. He actually asked a very good question. Here's one. Can non-professional YouTube reviewers compete with professional ones? I think that's an excellent question. I consider myself to sort of walk in between amateur and professional. And certainly you look at videos from CNET, then you look at some of the more amateur videos on YouTube, and you certainly see a big discrepancy in production quality. But I don't think you see a discrepancy in actual review quality. In fact, I think some of the bigger tech reviewers, the ones that are professional rather, don't necessarily do the best reviews. They just have the biggest audience. And I watch some of the videos on CNET and they keep them real short to hold your interest. And they don't answer all the questions that you want to know about the phone. They show you what it looks like, tell you how a keyboard is. They don't tell you really much about call quality. If you're looking at a laptop, they don't really tell you real-world tests, at least in the video at least. And I think that's where some of the amateur YouTubers really can step up and fill in the gaps that some of the professional reviewers don't offer. I try, and my videos can sometimes get a little bit long, but that's because I try and give you guys the details that maybe you couldn't find elsewhere, or a little bit harder to find. So to answer to your question, I really do think that the amateur YouTubers definitely stand a shot against the professionals. In fact, I think that the amateur YouTubers now can be tomorrow's professional reviewers that can help change the perception of, at least my perception, of the pro reviewers. So Andrea, I hope that answered your question. And I said that with an accent for you too, Andrea. Okay, so we'll go to the next one, and this is from user RadGMR. What is the best advice for getting noticed on YouTube or getting your website noticed? And this is really a hard one because I think most of it's just dumb luck. First things I don't recommend, don't email people asking them to subscribe to you. Don't post your video on other people's websites or YouTube channels. It's just going to get you marked as spam. And for most of the common viewers, they're going to find it a little bit annoying. The best way you can get noticed is to put out good content. Good content will eventually get noticed. And don't be discouraged if you're not gaining the audience that you hoped for or that you wanted, because it does take time to build up that audience. It really, really, really does. And just be patient, have confidence, build up your reviewing skills. It's not something you can turn on the camera and just do one day. If you watch my first 100 videos, I sucked. I'm not saying I'm that good now, I certainly have a lot more to improve on, but I was awful. I was nervous, I was looking away from the camera all the time. Every other word out of my mouth was, ah. I was making more mistakes than usual in what I was saying. They were just really bad. But I enjoyed what I was doing and I stuck with it and eventually got a little bit noticed. And certainly you can get the same amount of attention that I have, if not more, if you just stick with it. So that's the best advice that I can give you. Next question is from Nick MOC. What features in a smartphone would take you away from the iPhone as your main device? Well, that's a good question. Taking away from the iPhone is going to be tough. I have to have a capacitive screen. I think resistive screens are awful, non-responsive. I would need multi-touch. I've gotten so used to pinching, zooming, scrolling. That would be a requirement. I'd have to have a really stellar web browser. I do a lot of work actually online from my phone. So if I had a great web experience, I would consider it. Multitasking would be something that would be a feature that I couldn't get on the iPhone that I would definitely like. And perhaps a device with a full QWERTY keyboard would really be something that would take me away. Also, I would want it to be on AT&T's network since that's my current carrier, and I wouldn't want to have to carry two phones around all the time and miss text messages. I can forward phone calls from one number to another, but you can't forward text. So it would at least need to be GSM unlocked. Hope that helps you. So the next question is from Cell Phone Mern. What advice would you give to a 17-year-old boy who wants to break into YouTube market with a vlog show? Well, my advice would be very similar to the advice that I gave for getting noticed. First, stick with it. If you're 17 years old, that means you're still in school. Focus on your studies first. The best advice I can give to anybody is get an education. They might not ask you, being a tech reviewer, how to do geometry problems or physics or biology, but doing that work and learning it's going to help shape the way you think in the future. So education would be the first thing I would say if you're still in school. The great Al de Blasi once told me, and I know he tells some of his audience, if you're in school and you're not an A student, you have no business being a tech reviewer in the first place. Study, learn what you need to learn, and then when you're achieved that level of academic success, then start trying to achieve some technology reviewing success. But assuming that you are doing that, assuming that you are an A student and learning everything you can, the advice that I would give to really get noticed would be find something that determines or that separates yourself from the pack. There are a lot of people that just talk to a camera, give kind of verbatim what's on a package, and don't really offer anything unique. Find something unique that you can offer. Maybe infuse some comedy. Maybe infuse, costumes. Whatever it might be, you need a hook. It's a very crowded marketplace right now. So that would really be my short-term advice for you. The next question comes from Aflam. Aphilam. If you had the option to get a Palm Pre or an iPhone, which would you get? Well, I had a Palm Pre and I have an iPhone. And I gotta tell you, if the Pre was GSM, I would have been really hard pressed to get rid of it. I loved having multi-touch on it. I loved being able to multitask. I loved the physical keyboard. I liked the way the phone felt in my hand. It was fun to use. It was enjoyable. Call quality was fantastic. My advice for you guys is I think they really are on an even playing field. And you know how much I love the iPhone, so that's high praise for the Pre, and I think it's only going to get better as the software and the operating system matures. So I would say see where you get better coverage. If you have better AT&T coverage, go with the iPhone. Better Sprint coverage, go with the Pre. If you get the same coverage, really going to come down to personal preference. I don't think you can go wrong with either. If apps are important to you, then the iPhone's probably a better way to go since the App Store or the app catalog on the Pre isn't fully developed yet and is still in beta. So short answer, hope it helped. Next question comes from Blue42 Richman, Michael Sherlock. Can you give us some more information on Techno Buffalo? Now you guys may have seen Techno Buffalo on my phone, you may have heard me mention it in live streams. I will tell you this, it's a new project that I'm working on, and I promise you that more information is coming within the week. Really everything that there is to know about TechnoBuffalo.com will be out there, and I think that you guys are really going to enjoy it. At least I hope you are. Next question comes from Kayak Kid 613. What were some of your childhood nicknames? Man, childhood nicknames, all through middle school and high school I was called Ferris, from like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I was very fast talking to my teachers, and I was always trying to, pull something, I guess. So I had that nickname, and it kind of carried through with me even through college. Was the biggest one that I had. Because my name is John Rettinger, I was called JR, or because of Rettinger, I was called Rhett. I was called a lot of other nicknames too that I probably can't say on camera, but those were the big ones. And the last question comes from StockSage out of the Netherlands. Question: do you get to keep all the product companies send you? Because it seems like you have 635 phones. Well, the answer is no, I do not get to keep all the products. Some I do. Most of the phones I keep, or most of the phones that I get to review, I keep for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I send back to the carriers. They're primarily just demo units. Some of the other products I do get to keep if I review them. If it's a product that I particularly like, I may ask to keep it. If it's something that I have no interest in, then generally I will send it back. So guys, hope this answered some of your questions. I could have answered many, many, many more, but in the interest of brevity, I had to kind of cut it. So please keep sending stuff over to Twitter. I love to talk to you guys. My username is twitter.com/John4Lakers. I'll put a link up in the sidebar, which is probably one of these directions. Anyway guys, for exclusive content, check out Twitter as I just mentioned, and I will see you, or you'll see me rather, in the next video. Bye-bye.